The Russo brothers, who basically are the champions of this story, have readily admit they deliberately wrote a story all the way up to that point to push the limits so that they didn't know how they were going to solve it. What's up, y'all? It's Joe Master Lee.
And Lou.
We watched Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, it pays off. It pays off in spades.
In space or in Earth?
Spades.
Oh, it's spades.
We're going to talk about the biggest for this movie. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the movie. I walked out of there feeling satisfied, emotional.
Mixed emotion. I was crying from the beginning of that movie. I can't even hold it.
However, after sleeping on it all night long, I literally had to get up in the middle of the night and go, something just felt off about this movie. It was eating me up through the movie and eating me up till now. Now, I am almost certain Lulu didn't catch any of these.
That's right.
Because
for sure.
when she watches movies, she's able to block out logic. She's able to enjoy a movie just for what it is at that point.
Yeah, that's pretty much me.
There are more holes here than a Swiss cheese factory.
I can't even see the holes. I don't care. I love it. I saw a lot of holes during the final battle.
Not the same thing. I'm gonna start bursting your bubble. You're gonna be like me, stuck on these things all day. You're not gonna be able to get them out of your head.
You're
That's right.
bringing me with you.
That's right, Lou. I'm about to tell you Santa Claus isn't real.
Santa Claus was Thor on this movie.
This is number one. Right from the beginning, Tony Stark is adrift in space with Nebula. Literally all of infinite space. And just like that, out of the blue, Captain Marvel shows up. Happened to be flying by oh, hey, what do you know? A spaceship adrift?
Iron Man's here.
Iron Man too.
Help.
And he needs help. Come on now. Number two, I cannot believe that the whole universe was saved by a freaking rat.
That part with Ant-Man. Oh my gosh. That was so silly. At first, I was like, okay, why there's a rat? Why are we at the garage?
Because it literally doesn't involve anything that has been set up to that point, right? It's not like his daughter trying to find him for the last 5 years that led up to that storyline, or the rest of the Avengers stumbling off because they were trying to track him down. That rat saved the universe.
That's right. That rat is smarter than me. I can't even fix my computer.
Tony Stark makes it a big deal how it is impossible to go back in time. That the whole complexity is no, impossible, impossible. And yet overnight, he solves the equation how to time travel. Just like that. Come on. Give it at least another 5 years in the future where he struggles oh my God, this is complex. Problematic.
Oh, I don't know. He spoke to Ant-Man and, giving them the whole solution, and then he solved it at night. Or I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Why didn't they bring Captain Marvel along with a time heist? Look, I get she's out saving the universe, but they weren't willing to wait a day or 2 or 3 or 4 for her to fly all the way back to go with them, because she would have been able to gather all 6 stones by herself. They didn't even need to sacrifice anybody out there on time travel.
She said she's busy.
They literally had the solution. You say, look, hey, we got the solution. We're gonna solve it. Can you come back right now? And you know what? Take a year. We don't care. Because at that point, everyone's already dead. You're gonna go back and solve this. By the time everything comes back, no one's gonna know any different.
Why? Why are you making it so complicated?
I'm not making it complicated. It's just obvious when you have the most powerful character in the Marvel Universe, you want that person to come with you no matter what.
Next.
All right, the next one. After Ragnarok, Thor definitely has been a very different character. He's embraced a comedic side to him. He's almost become, how would you say, nonchalant. All the gravity and seriousness of the first 2 movies is gone. He's very just goofing around, right? So suddenly when he goes back in time and he sees his mom, he becomes emotionally attached to her. He was willing to sacrifice the universe just to go say hi to mom. He's never had that kind of emotion ever expressed in all the movies. Suddenly, out of the blue, he was willing to go and break character for this, when he was already racked with guilt about how he couldn't kill Thanos before. And that whole scene was just it doesn't make sense either. His mom going Oh yeah, you know what? You're an older version of my son. You don't need to explain why you're here. And you know what? You gotta go somewhere. Hey, I don't care about your time travel. Just go. I'm gonna pretend like this didn't happen. Are you kidding me? She's not gonna call the palace guard. She's not gonna pray because there's like ghosts or spirits. She's not gonna flip out of her mind.
Okay. Because she's a god. She is so powerful. She knew what's going on. So for me, I'm like, okay, I guess that's how she's, she's very, she can predict or something like that. I don't know. I can't fix this script.
All right, back to the Thor scene again. Right before he comes back in his time travel heist, he suddenly decides to call his hammer. Think about what he's doing. His younger version is not going to have his hammer ever. He basically screws himself up. Really? He took the hammer from that timeline, which means the Thor of that timeline won't have a hammer. What's he gonna do now?
Stop. Hammer time. Go with the flow.
And the younger Thor is not gonna know what's going on. He's like, where the F is my hammer? Hammer? He's like doing this forever, like, where's my hammer?
Hammer time.
All right, another one. They make such a big to-do about like how deadly these stones are, how they radiate radiation, how you can't hold them. Yet throughout the whole movie, it feels like everyone's walking around with a cube or a stone like it was no big deal. I mean, there was even at one point Hawkeye was holding a stone and he didn't die. Like it was nothing. Like, hey, what do you know? Here's a Skittle.
My doctor says I have Skittles pox.
Literally, the whole ending of Guardians of the Galaxy was the fact that so many of them had to hold hands together. And that Quill, who's half god, had to hold a stone and still not die by chaining up. Yet somehow Hawkeye's able to go like, oh, what do you know, a stone, put it in my pocket. That's the problem. It's not consistent. You know what I'm saying? If you're telling me how deadly these stones are, and Bruce Banner even claims like he may be the only one that is possible to wear an Infinity Glove because of all the gamma radiation in it. And you're telling me these other people, they're all like, no, I don't care. Don't make sense. I talked about how ridiculous it was that the Avengers didn't call Captain Marvel back to the time heist. It's even more ridiculous that once Captain Marvel does come back and she sees the gauntlet, they didn't go, she needs to wear the gauntlet. Right? Like, if she's that powerful, why not have her wear the gauntlet? Just bitch slap Thanos back and forth, left and right. No, they had to come up with this convoluted solution of trying to get the gauntlet into a van.
Oh, you're right. She could have done it in 30 minutes.
She could have literally solved this whole battle in 3 seconds.
No, then there's no more movies.
All right, and another one. And this one to me is like obvious from Infinity War, which is that if Doctor Strange has this ability, they can summon a portal. And literally when they shut off the portal, they can slice off an arm. Why didn't Doctor Strange just slice off Thanos' arms? And he could never wear a gauntlet. Literally, the minute the gauntlet was there, he could have done one of two things. One is, he could have just made the gauntlet disappear to the end of the universe, and no one could find it.
That's so true.
Or number two, he could have just cut off Thanos' arm the minute he put on the gauntlet, or never he put on the gauntlet. Or you know what? Just put a portal around his head. Boom, he's dead. The ending would have been just like that. Forget about a snap. You ready for me to ruin the whole movie for you at this point?
You're not making it fun. Okay, last one.
They go into this whole exercise about explaining how you don't want to screw up the timelines. You don't want to create parallel universes because it would basically ruin other people's lives. And that's why they decided to take all the 6 stones at the end of the movie and travel back in time to put them back to where they were so that nothing would change. Yet, Captain America decides to stay back in time. He was so in love, he couldn't let go of his angst that he was willing to go to that timeline and change all of history to be with that one woman. Yet, he was on a mission to make sure he didn't screw up the timeline. The one person who would like follow duty to the end was Captain America.
During that time, probably there was war.
Exactly. He was willing to leave behind the fact that they were going to go on and battle all these wars and eventually Thanos and not be part of that? I'm like,
I think this movie is such a big movie that they couldn't have time They have to let go.
Yeah, they have to wrap
just
it
had
up.
to
Hey, you know, the final
let
movie was already
go of-
broken in two, right? Just to be able to wrap it up. They had Infinity War and Endgame. Perhaps the only way to finish this movie was to come up with a time travel solution. There was no other way to do it. But by bringing it in like this, basically all these plot holes seem like they come out of like two massive Deus Ex Machinima moments. But hey, I love this movie. Don't get me wrong. If you're a Marvel fan, you will absolutely love it.
Oh my goodness. I want to watch the movie again. I really do. There's so much going on. Oh my gosh.
All right, you know, I think we are. I think we're gonna watch it again, and I want her to be able to notice all these details because she doesn't pick up on any of it. She never picks up on plot holes or anything that we watch. It's infuriating for me. But that being said, maybe I'm the one who ends up hating the movie more, not enjoying myself more because I can't just let these things go and enjoy the movie for the moment.
Exactly. You should just enjoy.